popular myth that has infected the public is one which you've probably heard your boss promote during the Google bandwagon. Your left hemisphere controls logical functions, while your right hemisphere controls creative functions. You may have also heard arguments against this. Your outspoken coworker or colleague may have said to you, "You can't just divide the brain arbitrarily down the center and label the left side logical and the right side creative. People aren't just artists or architects. This is all just a scheme to improve stock." Perhaps you believe this, friend. Perhaps you believe that these labels are completely meaningless. You'd be partially correct. The label logical groups similar functions of the brain together, and the label creative does the same. But what about the other functions? Surely, you remark, the two hemispheres are in charge of other things. Motor function, for example, is not a logical or creative task. So perhaps we should rethink our groupings of brain regions. Neuroscience Roger Sperry, who is one of the leading pioneers of split brain studies, once observed that when the human brain is split down the corpus callosum, the left hemisphere can speak while the right cannot. The right hemisphere, on the other hand, has the ability to perceive depth in images. So why not say that the left hemisphere is linguistic and the right spatial? Surely these terms are more accurate than logical or creative. Unfortunately, they fall into the same trap as before. The left hemisphere can do more than language, and the right can do more than spatial perception. More recently, Sperry has championed the labels analytical and holistic. He believed that these terms explained his experiments, as math and language may be argued to require analytical thought, while spatial perception and music appreciation may be argued to require holistic thought. So perhaps the most accurate terms are analytical and holistic. Not necessarily. Many others have developed their own groupings and labels to contribute to the debate. A colleague of Sperry's, Joseph Bogan, promoted the terms appositional and propositional. Parsons and Osherson offer their probabilistic and deductive labelings. Kosslyn and Miller reject all of these and assert that the top brain formulates plans while the bottom classifies and interprets. When giving a talk on the perception of God in the brain, Vilayena Ramachandran points out that the left hemisphere is unique in its ability to explain and ask questions. Michael Gazzaniga, one of Sperry's students, believes this difference to explain all of Sperry's data on split brains. So, which labels win the title of most accurate? It seems that all run into the same wall. Each label is based on a set of patterns in each hemisphere, but no label captures all of the functions. Each label is simply a subjective interpretation and cannot be measured in accuracy. In light of this, let's run a thought experiment. Suppose you have a number of shapes. Some are blue, others black, some are squares, others triangle. How do you organize the shapes? By color? By shape? Would either organization be more correct than the other? You aren't split into categories of logical or creative. These categories only serve to limit the ability of your brain. Instead of attempting to organize the brain into broad general categories, split brain research may instead serve as support that, though the parts of the brain interact, each part has its own distinct role.